Hey, how are you today? I just wanted to talk a little bit and give some examples of things that we tend to do to ourselves and yet blame others for it. So, a small example would be, let's say you were hiding behind a door, ready to scare someone, and they come through the door, and you just jump out and say, "Boo." And they get all startled and say, "Oh, you scared the daylights out of me." And the truth is, you didn't. All you said was boo. They are the ones that saw the ghosts or boogeyman or whatever else it was. Another example would be, let's say you're meeting a friend for lunch and you show up to the restaurant, they're already there, and they say, "Oh, I see you've got that blue shirt on." And you say, "Yeah." And in the back of your mind, you might be thinking, "I knew I should have put the yellow shirt or the red one. It would have looked better today." And all your friend said was, "I see you're wearing the blue shirt." Let's say you're a female and you get all dressed up, nice new outfit, and you want to show it off to your husband. And you go down and he's in the middle of watching the ball game and totally engrossed. And you say, "Hey, honey, what do you think of my outfit?" And he gives a quick cursory glance and says, "Yeah, it's nice." And a couple of things happen. One, you may get angry at him in that moment for not really fawning all over you about your outfit. Secondly, you might also have a thought that he doesn't like it and that you should have perhaps purchased a different outfit. Underneath that anger, you've got other underlying beliefs going on. And if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I'm all about our underlying beliefs. They are truly what cause our suffering. And it's always some form of the not enoughness. And it got generally established when we were quite young. And if you can, when somebody, you get triggered by somebody and you can just take in what they've said without being reactive and find in that moment what was reflected back to you about you, then you'll be able to slow down, bring that belief to the surface. They don't think I'm important enough, lovable enough, likable enough, smart enough. The list is endless. And also look at when you have stopped yourself from moving forward with something because that belief's active in you and you've brought it up unconsciously. I'll give you an example. One time I worked for a large company and I was put in charge of a very big project. And I was so unconsciously believing that I didn't have the intelligence to run this project that after a week or two, and I really lost sleep over this because that belief was so strong in me, only I didn't recognize it for what it was. I just knew I was afraid that maybe I'd mess up. And so I called my immediate boss and I told her that I didn't want the responsibility of that I would rather somebody else do it and just be part of the team. And I kept sort of making up excuses when she asked me. Fast forward a number of years, I can now see it was because I had a belief that I wasn't smart enough, not really intelligent enough to be in charge of this project. And of course, I was. I didn't know to question it. I didn't know to pull that belief up and question whether it was true. And it wasn't. That belief had taken root in myself from when I was very, very young. And I heard all the time, "Don't be so stupid. Don't air your ignorance in public." So see if you can identify that, the things that you heard over and over as a child, or maybe when you entered school, or even older in some of the relationships that you had. See what things were repeated to you over and over. See if you can find out what you started believing about yourself. and find a situation to apply it to. So what I mean by that is I could say, I was getting ready to go to school and I had a big homework assignment, and my mother said, "Don't be so stupid." And I could take that and say, in that moment, my mother made me feel like I was unintelligent. Fast forward, is it true I'm unintelligent? Well, the answer is no. Yet at the time, I fully believed it. And because it took root, it showed up in many ways throughout my life, one of which I just gave you an example of. If you take this to heart, you will begin to unravel all of your suffering. It only takes place in our mind. And again, it's so real in our mind. And if you looked at it from the outside, it's never true. So sit with that for a bit and see if you can find your underlying beliefs, what's reflected back to you in moments when you become angry or triggered by something else. Teach yourself to stop, focus, find that belief, find out if it's even true. And notice you're the only one who's thinking that thought and believing it in your own mind. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to have a conversation with you and go over a few more things that might help you. And of course, feel free to check out our latest course, Blueprint for Stress Release. It is a self-paced course full of phenomenal information and questions that will work you through any kind of problem that you have. And this is a tool that you will have for the rest of your life. Namaste.